Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. Good morning, 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 and happy Friday, good people. It is October the 7th, 2022. Y'all decided to wake y'all ass up with Ray G. And for that, I appreciate you. Shout out Fizzle Dollars for the intro song. Dope. Go check out his stuff. Whoa. And that's all I can say about last night's game. Whoa. Not good. Not good at all, people. Shout out to our sponsors, Prize Picks. Use the promo code WAKEUP. Get you $100 free. Go put those bets in. Go place those player props. It's real fun, right? Win some money at the end of the day. Use the promo code WAKEUP. Newsletter dropped today. The All Gas newsletter is free $99. Subscribe to that. 4D Dynasty Chess, Off the Line Fantasy Football. And Jay, I got to bring you in because we had a Destination Devy team member, and I'm kind of fuzzy, man. I'm kind of fuzzy. We had a Destination Devy team member who is down for the count. Ike, the other half of Off the Line Fantasy Football, my man Eugene and Ike, they do Off the Line Fantasy Football on DD. He tore his Achilles tendon, man. He tore his Achilles tendon 2 days ago. So I want to wish my brother a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
No excuses. I still expect the podcast next week. He has surgery on Wednesday. I tore my Achilles and did the damn show on Monday. After 2 days, I did the show. So I still expect their podcast to be out at regularly scheduled times. But shout out to Ike, man. Hopefully he gets better soon. I'm going through it with him. So 2 of the DD team members have torn Achilles. So Jay, I'm not
hanging out with y'all no more.
You might want to stay away, man. You might want to stay away.
I told G and the other member of Off the Line, I'm not playing football anymore. That is it for me. Like, I'm not as old as you guys. No disrespect, of course.
Come on, bro.
No disrespect, man. I'm just saying I'm not as old as you guys, but I'm feeling it. The pressure's mounting for me. You know, every day my knees hurt a little bit more. Yeah. My ankles hurt a little bit more. Seeing you guys tear your Achilles. But Ray, I do have to give a shout out to Ike because Ike didn't go to the hospital. He just went home. He just threw some dirt on it.
He just went
brushed it off. What Achilles? You know what I'm saying? It was pretty funny.
So for those of y'all that don't know, when I tore mine, man, me and Jay Rich had to go to the ER in Cleveland Medical. Shout out Cleveland Medical. Not the prettiest hospital I've ever been to or seen, but we were there all night long. And I come back home and I'm thinking, man, I haven't gotten a bill for this. Maybe my insurance covered it. Oh, they found me. Jay Rich, they found me all the way in Dallas. The bill is hit. And it is not pretty. It is not pretty. So I need to go pay that today at some point. I got my coffee coming in. Jay, got my coffee coming in. Thank you.
Oh, do you?
Shout out. Yep. Michelle Adoro. Coffee sponsor. So beautiful. Good. It's at the top. It's at the tip top. Let me get a little.
So good. So good.
Shit.
I have like 3 of these a day now. It's not good. It's not good.
All right. Well, what else wasn't good was that game last night. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I cut it off 2 minutes into the third quarter. I ended up seeing the end of the game. I saw Russell Wilson miss KJ Hamler.
Wide open.
I'm asking, right? We keep saying, don't panic. Don't panic. It's early. What are we doing with Russ? What are we doing with Russell Wilson in Dynasty? Where do you, I don't even know where he's ranked. I'm going to go to Keep Trade Cut, our favorite crowdsourced rankings engine. But just your thoughts on the game, man, and these weapons, right? You know, Judy, Sutton. We were talking about Jerry Jeudy was open all night. He was open all night. Jerry Jeudy should have had $150. Should have had $150 receiving, and Russ couldn't hit the blind side of a barn. What are we doing with Russell Wilson in Dynasty? What are your thoughts, man?
It's funny because,
first of all, who won the game? Who won that game? What was the score of the game?
The Colts won 12-9, I believe. Went in 9-9. Colts came in, kicked a field goal. Then Broncos came in, didn't kick the field goal, went for the touchdown, didn't get it on 4th and 1. Stephon Gilmore, he had a great game, outside of just he had the pick in the end zone to almost seal it, or at least to bring them back. And but going back to Russell Wilson, he's not good. We talked about him on Wednesday. Is he a buy or is he a sell? And I said, you know what? I think good things are coming for us. Buy him.
You said he was a buy. Right? You told people he was a buy.
And it's just it's crazy because if he threw touchdowns, he would be fine. He mean 21 for 39 is not great. 50% is really that's bad. That's struggling.
Not for QBR a $250 million quarterback.
QBR of 15.9 out of 100. Obviously not good. That's probably in the Justin Fields range. 274 though through the air isn't bad. The 2 picks obviously are awful. Sutton 74 yards on 5 receptions, 11 targets. Jerry Jeudy 3 for 58 on 8 targets. Not so concerned with those guys. It's the quality of targets that aren't as good as we expect from Russell Wilson. They are getting targets, but they're not the quality we expect. Russ isn't on his game, and I think you have to be somewhat concerned, but in some ways at the same time, like if he just completes a few more passes and he just tightens things up a little bit, he would be really good. Like he's not throwing any touchdowns. I'm pretty sure they have the lowest touchdown rate in the red zone. And these are things that just you don't expect to keep up from a quarterback of his caliber. And maybe it's the new offense. Maybe it takes them, 8 or so weeks to really get it going. And that sucks. But once it finally clicks, it is going to be really good for them. The running game will struggle a little bit. It wasn't that great until about the 4th quarter last night. But I think they can get it right. I think the problem is that how patient can we afford to be with Russell Wilson in Dynasty? And do you even want to do that? Like, would you sell him for a first right now to get out, knowing that he could kind of, return some value? Right. But would you get out of the first?
I'm the guy that has little patience, and I feel like it doesn't seem like Nathaniel Hackett is doing a good job coaching that team, first of all. It seems like he's just – the play calls are strange.
From what you saw yesterday, though, do you think because in my opinion, that narrative is a little bit tired. Like I think that Russ is the one who's
no. You're right. You're right.
In the wholesale sense, right? But I think that like he was calling plays that could have worked if Russ was making the plays, right? And he's not. Like even that play where you saw Hamler wide open, that has to be the first read. There wasn't even anybody else open.
But what I'm saying, you're right. That Nathaniel Hackett is not an excuse for Russell Wilson's play. Right? You are absolutely right. That is a tired excuse blaming the coach for simple reads that the quarterback isn't making. But if the quarterback and the coach aren't on the same page philosophically, right? You're going into the game plan. Russ doesn't feel comfortable. Nathaniel Hackett wants to run it his way, and they're not gelling. I'm just asking, could that be a contributing factor to what's going on, right? The offensive line isn't playing well. It's just hard for me to believe that Russell Wilson is like just done, just cooked, right? Like it's hard for me to just believe that he went from being a very good NFL quarterback, right? Say what you want, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, strong run game, to nothing. What it looked like last night to me was their best player was no longer there. Javonte Williams is their best offensive player. Melvin had a couple of nice runs towards the end of the game. I mean, literally 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter, but they just look like a team that has no identity. They don't look like they look like they're in between trying to be a run-heavy team, throw the ball downfield, quick passing game. It just doesn't seem like there's any cohesiveness to that offense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that's why it's like I don't necessarily want to give Russ a pass. And to your point, we can't give Hackett a whole pass. It's his offense, right? He's the one calling the plays. He's the one running it, and they're not executing. That is on him just as much as it is on Russell Wilson. But I think, at the same time is I don't know how much time to give these guys because Russ has only ever been in one system, right? Like it took Aaron Rodgers a couple of weeks to get acclimated to Matt LaFleur's system, and that's Aaron Rodgers, right? Tom Brady had some hiccups early on with Bruce Arians, right? So like these things do happen, but if you're not a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, how long is that acclimation process, right? And is Hackett the guy that can acclimate a quarterback quickly? And I think both of those things are in the negatives right now. Hackett's not a guy who can help this team and this offense understand it to where they can execute it properly. And Russell Wilson's not the guy that's going to elevate the offense quickly the way we expect of some of these Hall of Fame quarterbacks when they go through a coaching transition. And so it just comes down to, for me, is like, Ray, how long do you think we give this offense? Because you're saying you're kind of like out in some ways, like you don't really want to be patient anymore. But I think, we afford to wait 8 weeks for these guys? Because even Nathan like Sutton's been fine.
Nathan said it. We give Justin Fields a harder time with much less than what Russ has been doing this year. You know, like we get on here and we slam Fields week after week about how awful he's been, and there is data that supports he's got the worst receiving core in the NFL, the worst offensive line in the NFL, a coach that doesn't want to throw the ball, and we give Justin, we hammer him week after week, and yet, you know, whether he and Hackett are on the same page or not, you are a $245 million quarterback. And I know only 160 is guaranteed, but you signed a $250 million contract. I don't want to hear that you can't get the ball to Jerry. Like, you need to make those throws. You need to get it to Cortland Sutton. You need to utilize your time. You need to be a floor-raising quarterback, the floor-raising quarterback that you were paid to be. So as far as Dynasty, I'm looking at some players ranked ahead of him or right below him. So Russ right now in Keep Trade Cut, QB 14, and directly ahead of him is Kenny Pickett, Trey Lance, Tua, Dak, Watson, T-Law. Would you take Russ over any of those guys? Pickett, Lance, Tua, Dak, or Deshaun Watson or T-Law?
I think I might take him over Pickett. I don't know. Where would you stand? Can you give me some clarity there? Where do you stand with
right
Pickett
behind
versus
him? Let me
Russ?
just give you who's directly behind him. Zach Wilson at 15, Derek Carr, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones, Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields.
I think he's in a fine range.
I'd take him ahead of Pickett. I'd still take him ahead of Pickett. So I'd put him right there at QB 13. And the Tua thing is scary, man. We talked about Tua yesterday, man. And I'm asking the audience, right? Let's interact with our people today. Has anybody out there heard anything revolving Tua and his long-term prognosis or outlook? Like what? And I'm just saying, like, was it just a normal concussion or was this, I don't know, severity levels to concussions. I don't know brain injuries. I don't know how that works. But when he was on the field and motionless for, it felt like 10 minutes, right? It seemed bad. It was scary. There were people saying that, you know, multiple concussions, brain trauma. You're seeing other doctors come out saying Tua needs to retire. Like, you need to retire. I don't know any of his medical stuff. I'm just, where is your sentiment right now? Like, is this a player
you have to be concerned, right?
In Dynasty, you can do one of two things. You can sell now and just get out. Just be like, I don't want to deal with it. He's 24 years old. He's had multiple tightrope ankle surgeries in college. He fractured his hip, which people thought that was career ending. He had 2 concussions in a matter of 5 days, or 1 confirmed concussion and 1 concussion that we thought everyone believed he had a concussion. What are you doing with Tua right now? Like, he's somebody that I'm not buying. I know that for sure, because the worst thing that could happen, like, hit the button. The worst case scenario is he doesn't play the rest of this year, right? Brandon Cooks treatment. Like, he's just out. We're just not going to play him.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with him? Like, we just had to, what do you do with Tua right now?
I mean, I would sell him for a first if I could get it, right?
Wow.
Like, I don't know how you decline that offer, because you just can't expect him to play week to week. And that's unfortunate because, you know, head injuries are something that can be on a player, but at the same time, it's like, you know, everyone gets hit. Everyone in the NFL gets hit hard, right? And some people get hit harder than others, and some people get hit in the head. And to see what he went through, it makes sense why, you know, people are saying in the chat, doctors are telling him he should retire because of all the stress his body's been through. And I think the crazy part, Ray, is like, imagine how much relief you'd feel if you were Tua, if you just, I'm just going to retire. You know, you don't have to deal with the rehab. You don't have to deal with the potential. But then there's the side of the competing, right?
Yeah, this is what
like,
he was born to do, man. Like, he's doing something that a tiny, minuscule amount of people even have an ability or even have a chance to put themselves in a position to do. He's 24 years old. Like, this is what he wants to do. This is his life, man. He's dreamed of playing in the NFL. The competitor wants to get out there, but I mean, he has hit the stage of his career where he's vested in the NFL. So money's not an issue. Like, he's going to be okay. I hope for the best, man. I want to see him play, but it's just it's a conversation that we had discussed, man. And I'll tell you this, crazy. When I lost Trey Lance on a couple of teams, I went out and I was trying hard to trade for Tua. I wouldn't do that move right now. There's no way on earth I would trade my Trey Lance, even though he's out for the year, for Tua at this point. It's just, it's frightening. It's The ankle injury sucks for Trey Lance, but I'm not scared for Trey Lance next year. I'm not scared when Trey Lance gets in that something he might be a little hesitant. The Tua thing is concerning because you never know how that up there is going to impact everything. And I'm trying to give the people some actionable advice, and I see a lot of people thinking, I think it's only going to be a week, or he'll be back in 2 weeks. Even if he does, like, do you want to deal with that moving forward on your rosters, man? Like, I'm asking the real questions, man. Like, what do you do with Tua?
No, I don't. I think if you can sell him for a first, you have to do it. If it's lower than that and people really aren't buying, then maybe you just have to hold and pray for a sell window. But I think the biggest concern is, like, if he comes back and it happens again, like, he's not playing the rest of the year. Like, there's no way. And then it's, how long do you wait? And he's gonna obviously come back more likely than not, but it's concerning, right? It's not something you want to see. And people talk about, fighters getting punch drunk and the same type of things with quarterbacks. Like, at some point, he's going to be skittish in the pocket because he's not just going to stand there and get hit all the time if he keeps getting these concussions.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Real quick, let's touch on the other side of the ball last night. How awful is Matt Ryan? I mean, honestly, how awful is Matt Ryan?
He's better than Russell Wilson. I'll tell you that. He's better than Russell Wilson, and I don't really think it's that debatable. He had a better QBR and a better passer rating yesterday than Russell Wilson.
A 20 QBR for Matt Ryan. 50 is average. 50 is average.
I'm just saying he was better than Russell Wilson last night, so I will give him that credit. I think it's funny because Matt Ryan plays 3 bad quarters every game, and then in the fourth quarter,
he turns
if they're
it on.
Close and they need to win,
turns it on.
He somehow gets it done.
Turns it on.
Ray, but for me, don't care about Matt Ryan. Deion Jackson actually did look pretty good. I think the story is Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce led the team in targets, receptions, and receiving yards yesterday. How much did you love seeing Antoine Pierce, our boy, get a ton of action yesterday?
That's
shout out to Antoine Pierce.
Boy, man. We've been on Antoine Pierce since February, man. I mean, it was he's fast. He looked fast there. He looks very fast. He almost fumbled one, but they got it back. I said the big takeaways was he looked good, man. For everybody that wants Paris Campbell to be a thing, for everybody that wants Ashton Doolin to be this thing, it's 100% Michael Pittman and Alec, I was going to call him Antoine, Alec Pierce. It should be those two moving forward. 8 for 81, 9 targets, like you said, led the team. This is hurting my Michael Pittman entering the top 12 category. I'll tell you that right now. And again, some people bought like could be a legitimate game-changing wide receiver, and other people were like, he's solid, but he's not a number 1, right? So it's one of those things like you probably should have cashed out. At one point, Michael Pittman was being valued as like wide receiver 7 going into the season. Like after week 1, he was way up there. You probably should have sold him then. It was those two look good. I agree. Deion Jackson looked solid in relief of Jonathan Taylor. I can see why and I was going to save that one for last. Scary looking hit. And the crazy thing about these, man, you just never know how they impact like the Tua hit. When it first happened, I don't think anybody thought he was hurt. He just got kind of it looked like he just got slung to the ground, and then he was motionless. With Nyheim Hines, it didn't look like it, at least the angle that I saw, it didn't look like a devastating hit, right? It wasn't that receiver going across the middle and getting crushed. Prayers up to Hines. Looks like he walked off the field fine. He stumbled around, but just, man, it is scary. It's a good reminder of 2 things. One, this is why we try hard not to just be Matt Ryan is stinking it up right now. There's no doubt about it. But he's had a Hall of Fame level of career, right? He's been an awesome quarterback in the NFL for multiple years. But this is a gladiator game, man. This is I've had 1 concussion, and I swear to God, I remember everything up until that point, and then I just remember waking up in the back of the training room. Don't remember anything from it. It's a crazy game, and in this fantasy football world that we play in, injuries week to week, man. It's the draft is only step 1 of winning your league, man. Roster management, the attrition from injuries, that's really how you win, is staying tapped in and being on top of it, because I don't care who you draft, players are going to get injured for the year, for multiple weeks, disappoint, underperform. You got to constantly be manipulating your rosters constantly. And if you're not doing that, if you're not paying attention to what's going on, what your league mates are doing, the top of the leaderboard, the bottom of the leaderboard, you're not going to win in Dynasty. If you just think that you can draft and just chill, what are you even doing? You're wasting time and you're wasting money, man. But Jay, we got some games that we got to get to for the weekend. And yeah, I know we're 23 minutes in and it's been Colts and Tua and all of that. You got some news, so let's do that really quickly, Jay. Is that all right with you? Can we get you up real quick?
Yeah, so
the biggest news in the world of sports, covered and brought to you by one man, Jordan Richards. This is Straight Facts, presented by Michelle Adoro.
All right, Ray, so quickly, some news around the NFL. Kadarius Toney is out, so is Kenny Golladay. So the Giants basically have nobody at receiver this weekend. Curtis Samuel was a DMP on Thursday, already without Jahan Dodson. So the Commanders could be without Samuel, but I think he's probably going to be back. But weird that he was DMP'd on Thursday. Michael Thomas not at practice yesterday, so he's probably not going to play. Tom Brady reportedly with a shoulder and finger injury, which I did not see any evidence of that until that popped up on the injury report. He said he's going to play, though. Isaiah McKenzie returned to practice after suffering a concussion. He was in a non-contact jersey. This is important because Jamison Crowder does have a broken ankle, but I would look out for Khalil Shakir in some of your deeper leagues or even some of your shallow leagues because there's no guarantee that McKenzie will play. With the heightened sensitivity towards concussions with the Tua issue, there is a chance that McKenzie doesn't play. And then, of course, I've mentioned this before, they do have Kansas City next week, which will be a massive game, so you want to have as many pieces of that game as you can. And Kyle Pitts did not practice on Thursday. No reports, though, that I saw as to why. Dwayne McFarland said Kyle Pitts was not seen on the field at practice so far today. The Falcons taking game day simulations to another level. Hilarious. Love Dwayne. That's one of the best tweets
Kyle
of the year
Pitts,
right there.
Man, just
not good.
Killing me.
Hopefully he'll be back today, but it was weird to not see him at practice, though.
All right, we are 6 weeks into the college football season, if you count week 0. So we've got a good chunk of data in the college football world, and I think it's time for us in Dynasty to start thinking about next year's class and really paying attention to some of the players that are potentially going to be the difference makers in next year's class. So I got a couple of games that I want to highlight this weekend that I think we all should be paying attention to, and they may not be the most competitive games, but there are reasons why you should be paying attention. Clemson versus Boston College. It's the ABC game of the week on, I think it's like 6:30 my time or 7:30 Central Time. But DJ Uiagalelei, we need to be paying attention to him, man. This was a cat that we thought going into last year would be the consensus 101 in Superflex drafts in 2023. He had a bad season last year, but the dude has completely rebounded this year. He's only got 1 interception, 11 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, completion percentage is up. He's playing damn good football. Boston College, Phil Jurkovec, another one of these draft-eligible quarterbacks. But when you're talking about, you look across the NFL landscape now, quarterback play is bad. The Falcons, the Colts, the Commanders, the list goes on and on and on. You're going to have some NFL teams looking for a new quarterback next year. DJU should definitely be on the radar, so make sure you tap into Clemson, Boston College, as well as number 8, Tennessee versus LSU. Hendon Hooker, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a first-round pick. Hendon Hooker is performing and operating at such a high level in Josh Heupel's offense for Tennessee. And say what you want, LSU still has playmakers, man. They got a defensive, an edge rusher, Ojulari out there for LSU that's gonna get after Hendon Hooker a little bit and make things a little bit difficult for that offense. But getting a chance to see Hendon Hooker versus LSU, we're still waiting for something from Kayshon Boutte. This is a game people should be paying attention to with 2 high-end draft-eligible players in the 23 class. We also, this weekend, you need to be checking out Texas versus Oklahoma, the Red River Showdown, Bijan Robinson versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma is banged up. I think Texas will roll them. Quinn Ewers is back, but Bijan Robinson, everybody's 101 next year, whether it's single quarterback or super flex. Make sure you're tapped into Texas, Oklahoma. The big one for me, Jay, is BYU versus Notre Dame. And we get an opportunity to see a name that should be a quick, hot riser, Jaren Hall, quarterback out of BYU, tons of first-round buzz. He is balling this season. I mean, throws out of his mind. If you like Zach Wilson, people are going to love Jaren Hall. And if he can do it on national stage versus Notre Dame, I think he will go ahead and start to assert himself as one of the top 5 quarterback prospects in this class. You also have Michael Mayer, the best tight end in this NFL draft class. In my opinion, it's not deep, but he's the best of the best. He's a solid tight end. So you get to see a little Jaron Hall versus Michael Mayer. Notre Dame versus BYU should be a good matchup. I'm throwing this one out here, Jay, because my TDN brethren and sisters, man, they are telling me Cam Ward is the real deal. And we like the talent of Ward. We always question Washington State quarterbacks, but Cam Ward versus USC this weekend, this should be a big-time opportunity for Cam Ward to put his name on the map. I had him pegged as a breakout player this year. I'm not quite sure he's going to enter the draft in 2023, but there's a potential that he does. So Cam Ward versus Jordan Addison, the wide receiver 1 in the 2023 class, Washington State, USC. And then the final game to pay attention to, Devon Achane versus Jahmyr Gibbs, Texas A&M versus Alabama. A&M's Max Johnson is hurt. We know Haynes King is bad, but it's Devon Achane. He's a top 5 back in the class versus right now the RB2 in the class in Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if Bryce Young is going to play in this one.
Game time decision.
I
just looked it up, yeah.
There it is. Game time decision for Bryce Young. They should sit him, roll out Jalen Milroe. We get a glimpse of a 24 eligible prospect that will be coveted in rookie drafts. So there go the games you need to be paying attention to. A&M Bama, Washington State, USC, BYU, Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, LSU, and DJU-led Clemson versus Boston College. And one more thing about DJU, they're going to win the ACC. They should win the ACC. If that happens, he's going to be in the college football playoff. 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds that can run and throw the ball all over the field. DJU has definitely rehabilitated his draft stock. I'm very impressed by this young man. Jay, anything else you want to add before we move on to the NFL?
No. The only player I don't know if you mentioned them or not was Zay Flowers, right? Zay Flowers, he's drafted eligible in this year, right?
Yes.
You talked about Phil Dracovic, but didn't mention Zay Flowers. He could probably be a day 2 guy, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just
That was a miss. Yeah, Zay Flowers as well. Absolutely.
Boston College, right? So people who don't know where he plays for Boston College. So if you're watching DJU, look for Zay Flowers on the other side. He's draft eligible and really, really talented. Outside of that, though, I think you nailed it, man. You did a good job.
All right, man. NFL, what do we got? What are the games of the week? What are the plays? What are some bold predictions? Let's go. I think you got the Chargers in Cleveland loaded up here right now, Jay. Talk to us.
So, yeah, the Chargers in Cleveland, it sounds ugly because of Jacoby Brissett, but outside of that, it should be a really good game. The Chargers are favored by 2, over-under of 47.5. I think it's going to all depend on how good the Chargers defense is, right? You know, we say that every week. They're probably going to score points. I don't believe Keenan Allen's going to be active in this one. That's one we do have to watch. He's probably going to be more of a game time decision. But the Cleveland Browns have best rushing attack in all of football, right? So that's the biggest thing here. And the Chargers have been allowing a ton of big plays. The Chargers are 20th in rushing defense grade and allow 106 yards per game on the ground. But they've also seen them get gashed in back-to-back weeks. 50 yards by James Robinson, 75 yards untouched by Dameon Pierce, and 5.4 yards per carry, which is the worst or second worst in all of the NFL. The Browns lead the league in 20-plus yard runs with 8. Next closest team is 5, and Nick Chubb by himself has 5 20-yard runs. My bold prediction for this game, Ray, is 1, I think the Browns have a really good shot of winning it. They are at home, and I think that Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb will rush for 200-plus on the ground against the Chargers this week. How do you feel about this game? I'm sure excited to see Justin Herbert, but I do think that Nick Chubb could have a massive game. He should really be RB1. He's not quite RB1 in our rankings, but he probably should be with how bad the Chargers have been on the ground. I think that Nick Chubb can have a massive game this week.
Love the call, man. What are your expectations for Amari Cooper in this one? Amari Cooper's been playing some good football as well. It's sort of like one of them underrated assets. Like, people don't want Amari Cooper, but he's always, every time he's out there, he's good, right? He's getting targeted and he's good. What are your thoughts on Coop and Njoku?
I'm not big on Cooper this week. I think whether he sees Samuel or he sees Jackson, he's going to get covered heavily, right? I don't think they bother switching. There's no point. They have two good corners on the outside. They can obviously guard him over the top. It'll be a lot of short stuff. I think Njoku can be fine because I think the linebacking core is probably one of the weaker spots for the Chargers. And Njoku is just so big, right? Having that rapport with Jacoby Brissett has been showed over the past 2 weeks. I think it can continue going forward. But I think it's going to be a lot of the run game. I think that Hunt's going to be heavily involved. Chubb, obviously, best runner in the league right now, going to be heavily involved. What's up?
Quickly, starts from this game. I'm going a little deeper. Would you start Josh Palmer in this matchup if Keenan Allen is inactive? No Josh Palmer.
No.
So the only Chargers
he's been too
receiver.
inconsistent.
So you're only starting from the Chargers side of the ball. Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett, and Mike Williams. Those are your only 3 starts.
I think so, yeah. I just don't want to play the Josh Palmer game. He's been fine in some games and bad in others, and so it's just the Browns' defense is good enough that I don't think he's going to break the game for them. It will probably be Mike Williams. It will be Austin Eckler out of the backfield because, the rush defense for the Browns hasn't been good either. So I think they do a little bit more on the ground that's a little bit closer, but I don't think that we're going to be starting, or I don't think you should be starting Josh Palmer, at least.
Josh Palmer, yeah. Okay. And then from the Cleveland side, I'm just getting deep. Are you buying any Donovan Peoples-Jones working his way into the offense? Are you buying that at all?
I mean, I buy that he's working his way into the offense. Okay. I don't think you can start him, right? Okay. I think the Chargers defense is too good on the back end, but I think if there's someone who's going to break a play, it's probably not going to be Cooper and more likely to be Donovan Peoples-Jones. Really? Because, again, the focus will be on Cooper, right? It won't be on Jones, who's arguably much more explosive and can get down the field.
Man. He had 9 targets, 71 yards on 5 receptions, man. I mean,
that's Atlanta, though. Outside of AJ Terrell, you're not too worried about that Atlanta defense, right? But the Chargers is a different story. They got two very good corners right on the outside. So no matter who,
Patrick
who you are,
is with me. DPJ getting usage. I'm throwing it out there, man. You might have a team where some of these damn your wide receivers are going down like flies. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw it out there. All right, who do we have next, Jay? Who's next on the matchup?
The next game I really want to watch is Miami and the New York Jets. Obviously, Zach Wilson up against Miami. I think it'll be a really good matchup. The big thing I'm looking for here, Ray, and we've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, is Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner was brought in to stop Tyreek Hill and stop Stephon Diggs in this division, and we haven't seen him match up against any of these receivers in the division so far. That's what we're going to see this weekend. Now, we will get Teddy Bridgewater. We already know that. The Dolphins, on top of that, also have one of the best rushing defenses in all of football. So do not necessarily expect a lot out of Breece Hall, especially on the ground. But out of the backfield, he could be all right. But they are 29th in coverage, allowing nearly 300 yards per game. So we could see a big game from Elijah Moore, could see a big game from Garrett Wilson. And I talked about it on the waiver show. Corey Davis as well is definitely in play. Yeah. Depending on Xavier Howard's health, we know that he was banged up in the last matchup. So we'll see how he looks this week. Whether he's full go. I don't think he's going to travel with anybody. They don't really have anyone I think is worth traveling with. But again, they do have talented corners outside, but have been getting gashed in the passing game. I think it all depends on how does Zach Wilson manage that pass rush, because we know the pass rush is very good. And so I think they can get it done, though. Like, again, they're still allowing a ton of yards. The question for me, Ray, so Miami's favored by 3. Do you think the Jets can win this game? Because I actually do think they have a pretty good shot. But with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm, he looked pretty good coming in relief. Now with a full week of practice against the Jets, I do believe there's a shot. And so, again, I think can Zach Wilson get a win for sure? Is he going to, though? I'd say it's probably around 40-30%. I think the 3 points is actually pretty good. I think this game probably goes under 2 at 46.
I'll tell you this, man. I was not the biggest Zach Wilson fan coming out in 2021. He was QB4 for me. Wasn't the biggest fan, but I'll tell you what, everything that the Patriots and the Bears, everything that they have not done for their quarterbacks, the Jets have done the complete opposite. And if I had to bet on, because here's the thing that I never denied about Zach Wilson is his arm talent, his ability to throw the football. That's obvious. If you said that he can't throw, you're a damn idiot. Like, yes, he's probably got a top 10 arm in the league, man. He can make every single throw. And the Jets have surrounded him with pieces to help him be better, man. The offensive line, Elijah Vera Tucker, I think he's graded as one of the highest highest graded offensive linemen in the league. He's got a top 7 tight end in football in Tyler Conklin right now, the way that he's playing. He's got 3 competent weapons on the outside to throw to. He's got 2 good running backs. I mean, everything around Zach Wilson. I mean, this is what you wanted Mac Jones to be surrounded by, right? This is what you want Justin Fields to be surrounded by. Everything that the Jets have done to surround their young quarterback to at least give him a chance to be successful. The Jets have done that, man. And you cannot deny that he's in a great situation to be successful. So I'm backtracking, man. I want a little exposure to him because I do believe in Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore and Conklin and Breece Hall and Corey Davis and the weapons around Zach Wilson. So if I believe in those weapons, all he's got to do is just get the ball out, right? Just be an average quarterback and build upon that. He showed confidence. He can run the ball. I like what they're doing around Zach Wilson. Jay, any chance that we see some Skylar Thompson for Miami, the preseason darling? Scott picked him up in a couple of places in some deep dynasty leagues. I picked up Skyler, man. I mean,
he's never a backup. Know. You never know.
If he gets in there, it's going to be YOLO ball. He is going to be just run around and just make plays, man.
Hey, man, to be fair, how long did it take Brian Hoyer to get injured? A quarter?
A couple of series,
quarter and a half, right? He was out early. Now it's Bailey Zappi season for the Patriots. Definitely, if he's out there, especially in some of your best ball leagues, he's worth the pickup. Like, you just never know. And I think, to your point, he did look good in the preseason. Now, again, it's a different animal playing in the NFL in the regular season, but it's not a bad pickup at all. It's definitely worth a roster spot in some of those deeper leagues, no doubt. But let's move forward.
Yep.
We have Philly and Arizona, which, again, we'll see how Arizona plays. Philly's favored by 5, over under 48.5. The Eagles are the number 1 team in the NFL in both passing and pass blocking grade per PFF, while they're 3rd in receiving grade. So, again, the Eagles' offense is humming. The Cardinals have the 3rd lowest pass rush and dead last in coverage in the NFL, which is not a great combination for Arizona. The Eagles should have no problem with the Cardinals. Even on the road, they should win by a considerable margin if they bring their A game. I have the Eagles winning by 12 plus and A.J. Brown going for 150 receiving yards as my bold prediction. Ray, do you have any concerns about Philly? You know, I think the question was answered for me this week. They got down 14 points to the Jaguars. Yes, it's the Jaguars. You can say they're no good, but it was really the first time we saw Philly tested. And in the rain, to come back down 14 points was a big enough moment for me. We talked about how they haven't been scoring much in the fourth quarter, and especially even in the third quarter, they haven't been scoring much. So I think, again, I don't know if they're going to be tested by Arizona, but the big talking point here is Arizona doesn't score in the first quarter, and they score a lot in the fourth quarter, right? So are they going to be tested in the fourth quarter of this game? I don't know. It's all on Kyler Murray. I don't expect anything from James Conner. Question for you, Ray. Would you bench James Conner this week, depending on, I guess, who you have? He's been so bad. He's not really startable.
So bad. Doesn't Eno Benjamin just look better than him?
Much better, which I never thought I'd say.
I'm seeing people out here trading for James. I mean, we should have known that he wasn't going to score fucking 30 touchdowns again like he did last year. Do you bench him? You probably don't have that. You probably don't have the depth to do that. Who are you benching him for? Like, let me just ask you, would you bench him for Isaiah Pacheco? Are you there yet? Would you play Isaiah Pacheco? No, you wouldn't. Would you bench him?
I don't think you can do that.
Would you bench him for Khalil Herbert if David Montgomery is playing?
Playing. Ooh.
Playing. He's playing. Would you bench him for David Montgomery? Tony Pollard or James Conner?
Oh, I'd play Tony Pollard.
Michael Carter or James Conner?
I'd probably play James Conner because Carter's probably seeing, 40% usage at best, and they have a tough matchup against Miami this week.
J.K. Dobbins or James Conner?
J.K. Dobbins. Not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, Philly's got to keep their foot on the gas, man. They've been they kind of dick around, man, and later in the games. They kind of play around. They don't score. They get up. They came back versus Jacksonville, but they just need to keep their foot on the gas. I'm excited for this one. You see 2 young stud quarterbacks play. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard and Miles Sanders and the offensive line and the deep. They're all balling. Philly is scary. This is a dangerous team. And I do want to give some credit to Kyler Murray because he is single-handedly keeping them afloat. Because offensively, outside of Hollywood and Ertz, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The offensive line is bad. Cliff Kingsbury's bad. Kyler's doing what you want Russell Wilson to do, right?
Yeah.
Despite the coach, despite the situation, he's raising the floor of the players around him. He's getting the ball to Hollywood. He's getting the ball to Ertz. He's making plays. He's getting sacked and he's doing, but he's fighting, man. He's out there fighting and battling. That's what you want to see Russell Wilson do, and we're not getting out of him. I don't know if you asked me anything in particular about this game. Your bold prediction: Eagles win by 12 plus, and A.J. Brown 150 yards.
Yeah,
I don't know how bold. I don't know how bold that is, but I think I'm on board with you, man.
Hey, they're only favored by 5. They're on the road.
Okay,
like,
that's
a little bold.
All right, give us the next one. Who we got?
Next one is your Cowboys traveling to LA. I'll just give you my bold prediction straight off the bat. I think Dallas wins the game outright and by more than a touchdown. Dallas, again, they're 5.5 point dogs. I think they win by more than a touchdown pretty easily. Dallas has the 2nd highest rated pass rush in the NFL, according to PFF, which is higher than the 49ers, who just beat the shit out of Matthew Stafford on Monday Night Football. Dallas is also 6th in coverage and 3rd in points allowed. Cooper Rush has been good, man. Say what you want about the Dallas Cowboys and their offense, but Cooper Rush has been good enough. They are not scoring a ton of points, only 71, I believe, on the season. But the Rams, I don't know how they turned it around against Dallas. They didn't do anything against the 49ers outside of their first drive, which was scripted. And, that's just what happens in the NFL. After that, things kind of fall apart. Dallas's pass rush is too good. I think it's going to continue in LA. I think Micah's going to have a massive game. I just don't see how the Rams are going to win this one. Outside of Cooper Kupp, who he could still have 200 yards receiving, and they could still lose. So I'm not really sure how they're going to make that happen. Dallas, we know, has a nose for turnovers, whether it's fumbles or interceptions. We know Matthew Stafford is prone to that. I believe he's thrown 7 on the season so far. So Dallas is definitely in play for an interception there as well. And we know even sometimes they can get pick sixes.
Yeah.
I just don't see a world where the Rams win this game. I'm not sure how they're going to right the ship against Dallas. The pass rush is too good. The offensive line isn't where it needs to be. Maybe they can. I just don't see it happening this week. I think Dallas wins pretty easily.
Rubio asked this question: Cooper, Rush, or Dak Prescott? It's actually been a debate. Dallas has a bye in week 9. Apparently, Dak still can't grip the ball. I think they just need to hold him out until after the week 9 bye. Bring him back week 10.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'm going to say this, and I've been on record in saying this, man. If Cooper Rush somehow runs the table and is undefeated through the bye, they just need to play him for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I know what they're paying Dak. They need to play him until he screws up, right? And then you put Dak back in. Just ride the hot hand. Dak has got the rest of this year, and he's got next year. If Dak can't get it done next season as the starter, Dallas, contract-wise, they can get out in 2024, and they're going to go in a different direction. I don't think, first of all, Jerry Jones and them did not want to give him that big money deal in the first place. Like, they didn't want to pay Dak. They did not want to pay Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is operating the offense. I'm not saying he's better than Dak. I don't think that to be the case. But he's operating the offense fine right now. If Dak comes back next year and doesn't get it done, doesn't lead that team deep into the playoff, they will go in another direction. I think he's got the rest of this year and next year to figure it out, and Dallas is just going to – I think they would take the out, man. I think they would take the out. So I'm hoping he gets it together. My dynasty shares are kind of like Dak. I got a lot of exposure to Dak Prescott, and I'm slowly trying to liquidate
I've been getting out,
I'm slowly trying to liquidate a little bit of that because I do think there is an out in 2024. He better
just
get it
asking,
together.
would you trade Fields and a 23 first for Dak?
No, absolutely not.
You go the other way, right?
Like, would I get Dak or would I get Fields?
Get Dak.
Yes. I don't want Justin Fields. I'm good. I am good on that one. All right, where we at, Jay?
Last game of the week, Sunday Night Football, Cincinnati versus Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 3 after getting thumped both times last season. Over under 48.5. That should probably go over pretty easily. Baltimore looking for revenge after I mentioned getting killed by Cincinnati twice last year. Jamar Chase had 325 receiving yards, I believe, and 3 touchdowns. Just against Baltimore last year, Cincinnati comes back into this contest, bottom 5 in pass blocking grade and 10th in receiving grade. Baltimore has the 11th ranked pass rush and 16th in coverage, but still allow the most passing yards per game in the NFL. That, to me, is the X factor, is how good does Baltimore play on defense? I think that Baltimore's offense is going to be fine. It is worth mentioning that the Cincinnati run defense is still top 5 in the NFL as it was last season. I think the biggest thing, right, is can Jamar Chase and T. Higgins get loose like they did last season? I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think if I was to pick something, I think Lamar Jackson is going to go off in this one. Like, I see 400 total yards, 100 on the ground, 300 through the air, and 5 touchdowns. Because I think that if there's one thing that Lamar Jackson wants more than anything, it's to beat the living shit out of Cincinnati.
Really?
I think more than anything, he wants to crush it. Cincinnati's been riding so high, talking all their shit, kings of the division, favorites, all this stuff. Now they're coming to Baltimore, and I think it's going to be a very hostile environment. I think those receivers are going to get beat up at the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to get hit over the middle. It's going to be a chippy game. I think Lamar knows that he has to take his game to the next level in this one. I understand people are saying that Baltimore's defense is so bad, and I'm with that 100%. I'm not saying bench the receivers, but I think it could be a very chippy contest. Sunday Night Football, Baltimore is going to be big mad about what happened last season. It's their first game. It's going to be their first crack at Cincinnati this year, and they're playing at home. I think Lamar Jackson's going to put the team on his back, and I think they're going to win pretty easily. We all thought that Buffalo would go in and beat the shit out of Baltimore because of that pass defense. Now, it was raining a lot, but I think that overall, Baltimore's going to be ready for this one. This is the one they've had circled on their schedule, I think, more than anything else.
Man.
And no, I didn't see the Burrow interview for Cole Ward, who was asking.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game because we know what Jamar Chase has done to Baltimore throughout his young career last year, what he did to Marlon Humphrey and the Baltimore Ravens. And he started off kind of slow this year as well. Jamar Chase has been a little slow to start off, right? I think he had a big game in week 1. He caught a touchdown in week 2, but a little quiet. So he's due for a big game, due for a big blow-up game, Jamar Chase. This should be fun. I'm with you. I think Lamar Jackson is going to put the team on his back. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because you can move the ball on Cincinnati. And, Lamar coming off of he didn't play well. The Ravens didn't play well versus Buffalo. Now, weather definitely played a role in that. And that's one of the things. Is there any storm going on in the NFL this week that we need to pay attention to? Because golly, man, the weather has been killing us in some of these exciting matchups. So I'm hopeful that in this Baltimore-Cincinnati game, the weather isn't shit. Okay.
Looks fine. 66 and sunny on Sunday. Right. So it should be fine.
Quick question for you. Geno Smith, is he going to be a top 5 quarterback this week versus New Orleans? Seattle versus New Orleans?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well,
not top 5.
Top 10. Why not? Why not? Why not?
I don't think it's going to happen this week. He could be fine. I don't think it's going to be top 5. Probably not even top 10, but we'll see.
There's
a lot of good matchups this week.
There's
a lot of good matchups this week. Yeah.
Okay. Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Are you excited for Kenny Pickett?
No, not for. Well, I'm excited to see him. I'm not excited for him though. He's going to have a tough go. Buffalo has the number 1 pass rush in the NFL, so he's gonna have his work cut out for him in this one.
Houston, Jacksonville. Are you mildly?
That one I am excited for.
I am a little bit.
I almost put that one in the. I picked 5 games to talk about. That was almost one of them. I decided to go with Miami and the Jets because I'm favor the AL East a little bit more, or the AL East. Whoa, AFC East.
AL East, man.
AL East going to baseball.
Talk. Yeah, baseball.
Yeah, he's talking about Jays play today. Let's go. But yeah, no, I favor them a little bit. But yeah, no, I think this should be a really good one. Obviously, Dameon Pierce. Hopefully see some more Trevor Lawrence against a not as good defense. See how he performs. I think he needs a bounce back game. I think Houston is playing better. And I hope to see some Dameon Pierce. And, we'll see from there. But I think it could be a good game. I think Houston's better than people give them credit for.
Starting Jared Goff with confidence versus New England?
That's tough, man. The only fear for that game, and just to talk about it, like obviously Bailey Zappe's starting. You want to start Ramondre and Damian Harris, no matter what. The rush defense for Detroit is terrible. Start both those guys.
The defense for Detroit is terrible, period. They allow 455 yards per game. Yeah. They allow 165 on the ground and 290 through the air.
Yeah, it's bad, right? So we know they're not going to pass a lot. So it will be a quick game, right? I expect when Buffalo played New England in the windy game, right? New England ran the ball every play, right? They didn't care. They ran the ball every play. I expect that to happen again, right? I think that's the biggest problem. And so Goff's opportunities on the other side of it in a quick game may be a little bit limited. I think you probably start him. I don't know. Have you seen anything about Amon-Ra St. Brown and Shark and all those guys? I haven't seen anything about their reports yet.
I saw he wasn't practicing, so I don't even know if Amon-Ra still. I don't know if he's at. I don't know. What happened to him? Is it a high ankle sprain?
I forget whether it was that or. But the thing to remember is that if they're not
they
playing,
didn't practice.
Still could be fine.
Him and Swift did not practice.
And so at that point, I'd be willing, if you have other options that you think are in fine spots, I'd be fine benching him. I don't think he's in a smash spot. He's not playing Seattle. I think Bill can have a game plan for Jared Goff, right? We know that that's not going to be the case necessarily for Seattle, but Bill will have a game plan for him. And I think, again, this could be a quick game where you see a lot more running from the Patriots. The clock goes down quickly, very long, sustained drives, even with Bailey Zappe at the helm. And that just makes Jared Goff's job a little bit harder and playing a much better defense this week. The Patriots aren't a great defense, but I think they can scheme up a plan for Jared Goff, especially if Amon-Ra St. Brown and Swift and potentially even Shark aren't playing this weekend.
Justin Fields, just really quickly, does he get it on track versus Minnesota?
Maybe. That game's in Minnesota, right? If I recall correctly.
It is.
Which is the reason why I sort of like it. I mean, you're not starting Justin Fields, but I think he can have a pretty decent game. Minnesota's not great. We saw what Jalen Hurts did to them. Not trying to say they're comparable, but Jalen Hurts can run 50 yards and throw over 200 against Minnesota, at which point I think he probably has a good game. And hopefully he can find the end zone, whether that's through the air or on the ground.
3-1 Giants versus the 3-1 Packers at 8 a.m. It's an early morning London game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saquon, you're starting Romeo Doubs. You're starting Saquon Barkley. You're starting Alan Lazard. You're starting Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You're starting Daniel Jones probably in Superflex. You have to start Daniel Jones. He's been solid.
Do you think he can hold up against the Packers? I'm a little fearful of him holding up against the Packers.
We'll see.
The only scare with him is the ankle, right?
I think it's going to be heavy Saquon. Heavy Saquon.
Yeah, it will be. But definitely if he gets hit, right? Like if he gets rolled up on, he could be out. But I don't even know who their backup quarterback is right now. That's the bigger fear is they must have brought somebody in with Tyrod Taylor potentially being out again. But I'm a little bit fearful of Jones because with the ankle, he's probably not going to run, which really caps his upside for me. That's the biggest problem.
2 more really quickly. Kyle Pitts, Drake London versus Tampa Bay. Any hope?
No, thank you. Tom Brady's probably going to go for 350-4 against the Falcons. And remember, 10-0 in his career.
The last one. Is there any way we see Sam Howell or Malik Willis get in the game versus Washington and Tennessee? Is there any chance we see those two get on the field? Probably not. Sam
Howell maybe, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee blew out Washington, but I don't think Malik Willis is getting in the game against Washington. Yeah, I don't expect Tennessee. I don't expect Washington to blow out Tennessee by any stretch. But maybe Sam Howell. You know, imagine if Carson Wentz comes out, throws like 2 pick sixes or something, where they have no choice. They got to make a move. But we probably see Taylor Heineke, I think, more than anything else.
I think Taylor Heineke would be next up. They're not going to just throw not at week 5. They're not in week 5. They're not going to throw Sam out there in week 5. No, not in week 5.
You never know.
All right, man. Good show, Jay. Good week. What do we have on tap? Yep. We got some stuff. We got college football plays over on Prize Picks that are dropped today. If you do NFL betting, Jay Rich is going to do a video this weekend.
Yep.
I think the most exciting thing from the sports world yesterday was Victor Wembanyama. How do you say his last name?
Victor Wembanyama, yeah.
Dude, did you see the picture of him standing next to Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert looked like a regular civilian.
Like a regular guy. Yeah.
Yeah, next to
and
Victor
he's a
Wembanyama.
7-footer. Yeah. Just insane, dude. Like the
7'4", handle.
People were tweeting out last night the Broncos and the Colts are tanking for him. Like they're tanking to get him. Wow. Impressive, man. Impressive. NBA is back.
He's insane.
Mike Anderson.
NBA back soon.
Yeah, NBA back soon. Newsletter. Dope newsletter. It's free.
Link in description.
Link in the description. America's Game, Eric Vanek and Scott Connor tomorrow. 40 chess today. Off the line fantasy yesterday. Start sit show on Sunday. And
then Jeff's injury pod. Make sure you tune in for that because there are a lot of injuries. So tune in to Jeff's injury pod. That drops Sunday morning on DD Radio.
Look at that. Now y'all want to talk about basketball. Now you ain't shitting on us for talking about the NBA. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Happy birthday, Cole. We got a birthday in the building.
We
got a couple of super chats real quick before we get out of here. I almost forgot. Would you trade Pollard for Pacheco straight up? Or would it take an additional pick to the Tony side to make it work?
I don't know, man.
Who do you want, Pollard or Pacheco?
Move? I think I still want Pollard. Am I crazy for wanting Tony Pollard over Pacheco?
I don't think you're crazy at all. I mean,
it's close. I think
both of them. I kind of want. Yeah. I want exposure to Pacheco. I think it's a matter of when, not if, he starts to get more opportunity.
But I mean, what are you gonna get? You gotta.
Well, I got offered a second, and I didn't sell for a second. I'm good. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
All right, and then Fizzle Dollar sent us a super chat. Shout out Fizzle. Whoa, yeah, make sure you,
yes, sir.
Fizzle song, baby. All right, y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy football, and make sure y'all wake y'all asses up with us on Monday morning so we can talk about all the chaos that will inevitably happen in the college world and in the NFL world. Jay, we are about to be. I've got to.
What?
I got to.
What are you giggling about?
I got to find the outro. We're gonna.
Oh, okay.
I gotta find the outro. Let's see. Maybe this one.
So we're gonna talk about Monday Night Football.
Let's see. Is this it? Nope, that's not it.
More Fizzle. Let's go.
That's Fizzle. Thank y'all for watching the Wake Up Show with myself and Jay Rich. If you finished the show and you're still hanging around and have yet to hit the thumbs up button or subscribe to the channel, do that right now and turn them alerts on while you're at it. If you want more exclusive access to me, Jay Rich, the entire Destination Devy team, patreon.com/allgas gives you that access. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter for free 99 content. And if you want to get in on that action, use the promo code WAKEUP over on Prize Picks for a 100% deposit match up to $100 for first-time users, and a brand new show dropping on the Mojo YouTube channel. Myself and Jay Rich will be talking about these players and their value from a stock market perspective every single week this fall over on Mojo. It's all gas all the time. Love y'all. I'm out of this thing. Peace.